What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and this one I want to break down what's going on with the overall market, talk about some very important levels. I'm also going to talk about why tomorrow is going to be a very important day, as we have big data coming out, not to mention some very important earnings. Before I bring anything down all this information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. Firstly, I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo and deposit $100 into the account, you are guaranteed up to 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed up to 15 free stocks, and this offer ends very soon. Anyways, now let's break down what's going on with the market. In the morning, I warned you guys that the market might see some attempts to grab liquidity at this 478 area, and that's what happened in the morning. Then I warned you guys that there might be a dump coming because CPI was a little bit hotter than expected. I called some downside potentially coming for Tesla, SPY, the QQQ, and Aapl specifically, and all of those stocks ended up getting those moves to the downside as predicted. However, now the market is trying to rebound just a little bit. We're going to be watching to see how we end up reacting to this resistance level. But if I'm going to be honest with everyone, the truth is I was basically trading the markets. I had short positions. I closed the large majority of them. And I'm not really planning on holding much overnight. I'm going to be honest with you all. The reason for that is because we have some very important data coming out that could shift the markets. And I think that it's very important, in my opinion, to just come back fresh tomorrow. Now, you don't have to follow me. It's all up to you to do whatever you want. But I want to give you guys a warning about tomorrow. So for tomorrow, we have two big catalysts coming out. So the first one is going to be the PPI report is coming out. We're expecting this to be very close to what these expectations are. I'll break down more details in my later video, but PPI is going to be very important. Notice how CPI came out today. SPY went from 478 all the way down to 472 and then back up to 475. Crazy volatility. Well, we might see some high volatility thanks to PPI as well. This is similar to CPI. This is a leading indicator for CPI, and this is the producer price index. It's from the producer side or the manufacturing side instead of the consumer side. So that's very important. Watch for volatility an hour before the market opens when PPI comes out, and we will see what the numbers look like. On top of that, we have another big piece of data coming out. Well, not necessarily just a piece of data, but more like earnings. We have massive earnings starting tomorrow. It's going to be very, very big. We have JP Morgan Chase, we have Delta, we have Bank of America, Wells Fargo, BlackRock, and Citi finally announcing their earnings. This is going to have a big effect on the markets. If these banks flop, it's going to cause the market to sink. If the banks do well, the market could still bounce, and if the earnings are kind of mixed, the market could go either way. So we'll be watching this very, very carefully. The big bank earnings are going to have a big effect on the markets. So with that being said, even though I did a lot of trading today, I basically just kind of closed the large majority of my positions, and my plan is to just wait until the next day. Not financial advice, it's just what I'm doing. I will wait and see what happens with earnings before making more decisions. You don't have to copy me, but it's your choice, if anything. If you try to short the market or go long in the market, you could still make crazy money overnight if you plan on holding. But I'm one of those guys that likes to wait for the certainty, wait for the data first before I make the new moves, because once again, it could be risky to hold overnight. You never know what could happen. So that being said, how we move tomorrow depends on all this data. It depends on the earnings. So with that being said, it's up to you if you want to hold overnight. If you don't want to hold overnight and take the risk, you have just over like 2 hours from what I'm looking at until the market closes at the time I'm recording this. So it's your choice, guys. Take profits if you want, or just continue to hold overnight. It's all your choice. We'll see how it goes. With that being said, we'll be watching to see what this causes for the markets. If SPY launches right back up and manages to hold above 475 and it pushes tomorrow, we could be looking for a move back to 477 towards this yellow trend line. We could push back up here tomorrow if the bank earnings help push the market up. But if SPY ends up failing, look for a rejection back down to 472. If that fails us, we have a potential head and shoulders like structure. This could be like our left shoulder. This could be our head. And we might see some shop in the beginning before a sell-off for the right shoulder. So there's a risk of some downside. We could be forming a head and shoulders like structure. We will see what happens. It all depends on these numbers and these earnings. So just be very patient. If you're bullish, you want to see this thing get above 476 and eventually push back up towards this trend line. If you're bearish, you want to see this thing lose 474 and close below that, and then eventually tomorrow continue to sink below 472. If we lose where this wick was right here, I expect 470, then 468, but we'll have to see depending on the data. As far as Tesla goes, it's looking relatively weak. Well, the whole market is selling off, so I wouldn't say it's even weaker than before, but it still is kind of weak. I called out these supports right over here. I told you we have some nice support right here around 226.5 225-ish, and we also have 225 below that. So very tight supports on Tesla. We also have resistance at 228, 230, and then 232. I warned everyone that if Tesla lost 230, expect a bigger drop, especially because we lost the daily 200 EMA. And Tesla did technically come down very close to our target of 225. It came very close. So now we have resistance that's coming up very close to 228. And then we also have 230 above that. Tesla could rebound a little bit, but then we'll be watching to see how the big bank earnings affect it. Will Tesla push back up to 232 plus, or are we about to get a bigger sell-off back down to 223.5 than 220? We'll see what the bank earnings cause tomorrow morning before the market opens, and also what happens with PPI. That's going to be very important, so just be prepared for that. For the QQQ, we got this break from this rising wedge. A very, very beautiful trade could have been made here. I was saying that it's going to test 406 and possibly 404. We did come down to 404.25, so the level is very close. And now it's trying to rebound, get very close to 408, which is where we have resistance. Right now, the QQQ is showing a little bit of life, but be very careful. With the big earnings coming out tomorrow, who knows if this thing is going to gap down and start tanking back down to 402, or if this thing will rebound back up to 410 plus. It all depends on the data, so we'll just have to wait and see. If you want to play it overnight, it's your choice. If you want to play options overnight, if you want to play options for a week out, it's all up to you guys. But and from my personal opinion, based off my strategies, I prefer just like waiting for the next day for the data before reacting. I find that safer, but it's all up to you guys. On Nvda, I told you all that Nvidia might come down. We might be looking for a move to the downside to fill this gaps and eventually come down towards, I was saying 540 could be tested. We came a little bit below that towards 535 before bouncing back up. So we're kind of trading in this range now. So as far as Nvidia goes, will we launch above 550 and start pushing for 555? Or are we about to get another rug pull back down towards 540? This is going to depend on earnings coming out for tomorrow and the PPI data, so be very careful. Nvidia was pretty volatile today. We got this little push up to 553, came down to 535, then back up to 550. Very high volatility from Nvidia. So we'll see if we see more volatility tomorrow and which way it goes, but just be prepared for some high volatility and make sure you watch the levels I just show you guys right now. As far as Aapl goes, I was warning everyone that Aapl might come down to, if we lost this support, I was expecting 183.5. We actually came just above that, so it was very close but not exact. Now it's trying to come back to 185. So we're kind of stuck right now. I do want to note that there's a possible head and shoulders leg structure that could be developing here. No guarantees though. I would say just be patient and wait. We will see if this thing could hold above 185.58, if we get a pushback above that, or if we get a big rejection, we come back down below 183.5 to start sinking for the 182s. The best thing to do, and this is my honest opinion, is just wait. Be very patient. One thing that a lot of people like to do is to just rush into trades. They want to just go all in on shorting. They go crazy. The truth is, just be patient, wait and see how the things look, and that's what I'm personally going to be doing. Not financial advice, by the way. So we'll see what happens with PPI. This is going to cause some high volatility. This is going to give us more gauges about how a CPI may look like during the next report, because this tends to be a leading indicator. And then on top of that, we have the big bank earnings. I can't really predict how those are going to look. We'll just have to wait and see. So be patient, remain very calm for as long as possible, manage risks as much as you can, and then we will see what happens once all this data comes out tomorrow morning before the market opens. All this is coming out before market opens, so we'll see. If you want to exit anything, this is your last chance. We have a little bit over 2 hours left of trading for the day. If you want to hold overnight, it's your choice as well. I'm just here to give you guys the warnings. Do whatever you guys want to do. It's up to you. But thank you for listening. Have a great day, guys, and I'll see you guys very soon on the next one. Thank you, and peace out.